Okay, so last time in the last video, we learned how to deal with situations where you're basically setting up a truth table. You're filling out the different possibilities, and we kind of didn't do much with it. Seems rather like pointless to have just that part of it. Um, we're going to basically be using what knowledge we learned in the last video to apply it and look at different statements. And when you do these sorts of problems, a complaint I get a lot from kids is, why are we doing this? Like, what is this for? What do you use it for? Truth tables and the idea of logical thought is something that if you do go into something like a law program, I've heard of them actually using truth tables as a matter, like a way of organizing kind of the statements that they're going to be talking about. And really it just helps you to see through when somebody is saying something that's true or not. So the idea of thinking about the truth of a statement is valuable, even if it's not necessarily something you'll run across like every day. Now, there's a bunch of steps on this slide right here that will help you guys kind of make your truth table. But I think for right now, it's easiest to just kind of explain through examples. So all these steps are here for you guys. You can look at them later on. But for right now, let's just jump into a problem, and I'll kind of walk you through it. So let's say we wanted to analyze the truth value for P and not Q. That's a statement. We want to know when it's true and when it's not. So P and Q could be anything you want. I think in the last video I did something about like math homework. I have math homework, and so this would be like I have math homework and I don't have science homework, but whatever. Who cares what it's about? You're just gonna basically, we have statements. The statement we're proving goes in this upper right box up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write it up here, and I'm gonna space it out so each part I'm going to basically be making columns in this last box, but I'm deliberately putting space in between each parts. So P has its own little space. My symbol, the conjunction symbol, has its own little space. And the squiggly or the negation symbol, usually you attach that to the variable. And there's one exception that we'll talk about later, but keep it with the Q right now because it's not Q. Once you write your statement in and you chop up your last box right there, the first thing I'm going to do is take my left side right here. So here's P, for example. Anywhere I see a P on the right side, specifically right there, I'm basically just going to copy what it says going down. So P says TTFF. Under my P over here, I'm going to do TTFF. Just copying down what it says, basically. So that matches the P from over here. Now, with my Q on my right side here, I have not Q. Remember, the negation is like the opposite meaning of the statements. So if originally Q is true here, if I have not Q, that means not Q is going to be false. If I had a false here, under not Q, I'm going to put a true. I'm basically taking the opposite of whatever I see. There's a true there, I'm going to put a false here, and there's a false here, I'm going to put a true here. So step one, the basic thing I do after you write your statement down, copy your letters. Leave your symbol alone, but we're just copying our letters. So we had a negation, we flipped the Q, we left P exactly as is. Now what we're going to do with that symbol in the middle. And the symbol in the middle for this one is an AND symbol, right there. If you recall from the last video, AND is only true when both parts are true. So for the first one here, I have a true and false. That's false. Both parts have to be true for that side to end up being true. For the next one, I have true and true. That's good. That's a true statement. Next up, I have a false and a false. That's false. And next up, I have false and true. That's also going to be false. So what you'll typically do is circle that last column you filled out. That's your answer. So that green column is my answer for this problem, and it basically tells me what kind of situation I'm dealing with and when this statement is true or false. So the symbol is the part you fill out last, and that's going to be your answer, the symbol in the middle. And we'll get into that a little more as the videos go on. But basically, what this does for me, you might be like, what did I even do here? If we want to say this statement, and we want to know when it's true, if both P and Q, like in the first line right here, are true, so P was true, Q was true, that means my statement's going to be false, because that's what I got from right here. If P is true and Q is false, then you're going to have a true statement. If P was originally false, Q was true, you get a false statement, and so on. So you can look at what you started with and then see if your statement's going to be true or false. Okay, we got one more example for this video. I'm trying to make this a relatively short one here. They give us their statements, and again, I'm just going to write it up here, spreading out apart the different parts. So I have a squiggly P, I have my disjunction symbol, and I have the negation of Q. I'm going to chop up my big box right here into 3 parts. This negation symbol stay with the letter, then give the or its own symbol. And I'm going to go ahead and copy in my letters. So I'm going to fill in squiggly P and squiggly Q. So if you are feeling okay about this, why don't you pause the video real fast and then try to fill out this table. See where you can go with it on your own, but I'm going to go ahead and fill it out on here for you guys. Originally, I have not P. If P was true, that means not P is false. If I had a true, I'm going to put a false. If I had a false, I'm going to put a true. False, that's going to be true as well. So that's going to be not P. For not Q, I had true, I put false. I had false, I put true. True is false, and false is true. So I'm looking at this situation right here, basically. Now, my symbol in the middle is an OR symbol. And when I have OR, if you recall from last video, OR is true when either part is true. If I see at least one T, I get to put down a true in the middle there. Well, for the first one here, I'm pairing up an F and an F. That's going to be false. But if I pair up an F and T, it's true. T and F is true. T and T is also true. I'm going to circle this part. That is my answer, and I am done. You can analyze it as needed, but that's the basic idea with the truth table.